Yo, what's up, fellas? What's up, everyone watching? Welcome to Speak Your Mind all the time. It's your boy Sid. It's been a minute, but guys, I got a hype one tonight. I got my fellas in the house. So before we go any further, I want you guys to please introduce yourselves and let them know where to find you. I'm gonna start with my man Nix on this side of me. Let's do
10
this.
4. Man, what's going on, man? It's your guy, Nick's. Man, real quick, I got to give a special shout out. J Tuck, my guy, Nick Herrera, and shout out to Young Skywalker helping me out. And man, I'm over, man, hey, over 500 followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
Don't judge me. I'm famous now. But no, man,
Hey, be careful what you ask for.
I do know it. I do know it. But man, shout out to all my new followers that are coming along for the ride, man. Appreciate the fellas for giving me that boost and that jump, man. At the bottom of the screen, you see it, your underscore guy underscore Nicks. By all means, please come follow me on Twitter. Hey, man, and Stargang is the Facebook group and Stargang Podcast YouTube channel, man. Man, appreciate you, man. Appreciate having me on, Sib.
Yeah, man, appreciate it too, man. J Tuck, let them know where to find you, man.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy J Tuck, man. Of course, you guys can find me on Twitter at JTuck151, man. I appreciate all the support, all the interactions for the most part, but for the most part, man, like I said, I enjoy talking to a lot of you guys, man. You guys keep me going throughout the day, but also go to the Cowboys fans only YouTube channel, man. We're growing at a rapid pace. I appreciate all the love and support there, man. Everyone's rocking with me. So it's been a journey. We're almost at our 1-year anniversary. So go ahead, comment, like, subscribe. And then also find me on the Fan to Fan Network. I'm starting to get into my writing bag a little bit more, man. So just finding time to do everything, man. But I appreciate all the opportunities and got my guy Sid Nix here rocking with me. And it's an exciting day for a lot of Cowboys fans out there.
Yeah, man, 100%.
Now, and you are right about the old Cowboy. I'm on the old Cowboys Nation because I put shouts out all my new followers and everything. Today, Cowboys Nation, you're awesome. I love you.
Right.
Tomorrow, I don't know.
Yeah. Because my slogan used to be, I follow all Cowboys fans back, the good, the bad, the ugly. Yeah, we had to pump the brakes. We had to remix it a little bit. I got to scroll your profile a little bit.
Yeah, let me look.
Right.
Yeah, the 100%, man. Listen, guys, I'm gonna big press conference today. Big press conference. I don't know. I know you guys watched it, and I'm sure there was like over 4,000 people watching it. It was ballistic.
Oh, yeah.
And one word. I just want one word. We'll get into the whole hype, the whole everything that went on. I just want one word about what you guys thought about the press conference today. Nick, how about you go first? One word, man. Just one
word. Satisfying.
Okay.
I mean, definitely a lot of different words I could choose there. I need your rest of his greatest Dallas Cowboys press conference of all time. But low key, I think satisfying is a term I would use. Man, hey, look, this has been a 3-year ride. 2 for sure. We could kind of call it 3. He was under contract, but 2 and what was going on, the ups and downs, the lefts, the rights, the different reports. Oh, here's, I posted a picture because the grandson of Jerry Jones that hit let go on IG was in the family photo right next to Dak. And we saw Tad and what Tad went through. And you saw Tad with the pictures with the Joneses. So satisfying, right? It was the outcome that most of us wanted, and they got it right. And here we are. So satisfying is where I'll go.
All right, man. Jay, what do you think? One word, man. Just one word.
Yeah, I would say optimism. I feel like that's what, it really led to a lot of optimism as far as from a Cowboys fan standpoint. I feel like leading up to this whole, situation, going through this Dak Prescott situation, there's been a lot of doom and gloom when it comes to the Cowboys, especially if you go back to all the last year, what actually happened with the injuries and, only getting about 6 wins and, whatnot. But I feel like, as a Cowboys fan, I'm more optimistic about the future where the Dallas Cowboys currently stand versus if we were sitting here having a conversation about Dak Prescott being franchise tag. So we have our quarterback. Steven mentioned it, quite extensively throughout the conversation. Our offense is intact. Now it's really just focus on defense. And I feel like if we're able to plug in a few of those pieces, we can get back to a winning formula here in Dallas. And so I'm very optimistic about, this upcoming season. Like I said, I'm drunk off the Kool-Aid right now. The pro shop had a sale today. They hit me over the head. So, and shouts out to my guy KD on Twitter, man. And he was like, this was a long press conference. Like it felt like Jerry Jones was like a pastor on Easter Sunday, man. So I had to pay my offerings, man, at the pro shop, and there we go, man. So hopefully we handle things in free agency and get this ball moving.
I mean, re-energize might be the right word, even, right? It re-energized the fan base, even, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm with you. I was gonna say satisfying, man. I was happy with what I saw. There was a lot of positiveness. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, I was convinced. I'm like, we're going to the Super Bowl this year.
It's
salesman,
Kool-Aid
man.
season. It's Kool-Aid season.
Yeah, man. Like that's how I felt. But there's one thing that I was just like, I wanted to reach through my phone and slap Jerry, right? So, and the reason why I wanted to slap Jerry is because Jerry Jones said we had no doubt that we were going to sign Dak. Now, and I was like, what? Then what took so long? Like in all the turmoil and all the hype and not getting it done last year and all of us, then he started talking about the whole, to sign Dak, the money that we had to sign him, we had to have money coming in the bank account before we could get the money out the bank account. And I was just like, how now you're making it sound like the money was an issue, but then you were so sure about signing Dak. So what do you guys think the overall issue was? I know they touched on it a little bit, but they're going to tell us what we want to hear. But what do you guys think the overall issue was?
Yeah,
you go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I feel like, what we really got during the press conference, of course, and we were all, we know we're going to get it, was the old Texas two-step from Jerry Jones. So he kind of danced around and finesses his way around a few questions. But, when Jerry kind of sold the approach, I feel like he was trying to use the COVID excuse that they didn't really know how things were going to impact the NFL. He mentioned the possibility, and he's like, I've been with the NFL when they had no money and they were dead broke and didn't know how they're going to pay their bills. And so I can kind of buy into that. So maybe that had something to play, but I feel like it was a lot of the conversation between Dak and I'll say Todd France and Stephen Jones, because Stephen Jones also alluded to is that, they wanted something that was team friendly. And so he said, Todd actually said, what, I'll give you that one. So I feel like they were actually going to the negotiation table, and maybe why we saw this 6-year kind of deal where it's going to be voided and, after the year 4, and we saw such a low cap hit, it was okay, well, you're going to do that, but then there's going to be a no trade clause, a no tag clause. So there has to be some type of give. I feel like last year, maybe both sides were just being stubborn and they just didn't have any movement. But I feel like for the most part, they really wanted to get a deal done, and they actually had to give some compromise. And it sounded like, based on what Stephen Jones said, there was actually some compromise on both sides. So I feel like for the most part, as Jerry said, the Dallas Cowboys won with this deal getting finally finalized, because I feel like last year there wasn't much talks when it comes between Stephen Jones and Todd France. There's a lot of silence. There's like foot in the sand. But this year we started to hear a lot more momentum. And I feel like, Nick has said this frequently that, Todd France needed to get this deal done. It was like he was sitting there at the press conference. If I'm Justin Simmons, I'm calling like, hey, bro, what are you doing? You're out here celebrating. There's more money to be made. But I feel like Todd really got his golden goose with this deal. And, he really needed to lean his hat on that. So I feel like, compromise. Be honest with you.
100%.
Yeah, at the end of the day, look, they say that, right? You hear from the Joneses all the time. Deadlines gets deals done. And low key, Jerry didn't lie, because they had control of the situation. And once they were about to lose control of the situation, the deal got done. They had him cheap on the 4-year deal. Should they on the 4th year of his rookie contract? Should they have done it? Sure. All right. You kind of played around, right, with the tag, non-tag, right? There might be 2 tags. It's COVID. And I do think one thing we probably haven't touched enough, COVID probably did play a little bit into last year.
Right.
With this tag and everything. But whatever happened, and then they got to this year, and we got to be, just keep it a buck. And this is why I came out here. I campaigned. I said, this deal's going to get done, guys. This deal is definitely going to get done, because that's a $37.1 million hollow point bullet to the head. They couldn't take it. And like Steven had played his hand as long as he could. And he had, look, they're not going to turn away from, no matter where you want to rank Dak, no matter what my ranking or any or Sid's, or look, he's generally considered to be a top 10 quarterback in the league. Okay.
Right. So
they weren't going to turn away from him. And it was up. And of course, Steven is always eventually folded. See, D-Law, go look at Zeke Elliott. Right? They can't. Did they cost themselves some money today? The Cowboys, sure, they would have got it done a little bit earlier, sure. But I don't think Jerry was a liar in the fact that they knew they'd always get it done, because they weren't ever out of options. They just had to wait till the last card was played. It's like, all right, checkmate. You got me. Move forward.
Right.
Yeah. Listen, I want to welcome
the Chains. What's up?
The Chains.
Yeah. I finally on screen with them. I'm excited about this.
I had to lock the cat in the bedroom. My cat is so in love with BJ Nix. I in awe.
Yeah.
She hears the voice and she runs the hall.
So moving the chains. Before I get you, please, and for those of you who don't know, moving the chains is one of the biggest. She's a blogger for the Dallas Cowboys. She writes amazing articles. Don't know where she is. Moving the chains. Let people know where to find you. Let them know about your articles, and then I want you to tell me how you feel about Dallas Cowboys signing our QB finally.
Finally, you can find me over on Twitter at Shane's Movie. You can find me on Instagram at Shane's DC, and I'm finally on Facebook. First name Moving, last name The Chains. You can also check me out over on WordPress, and it's
Perfect.
Chains blog.
Guys, she's written amazing articles. Definitely go find her. She's written amazing stuff about all of us. So we appreciate you. So moving the chains, I'm glad that you jumped in, and I'm going to have other people jumping in as well. But please tell me how you feel about Dak finally being signed.
I'm elated. I was so happy on Monday. I'm still happy. It just made my week. It made my week, and I knew that it would get done before March 17th. I felt it. It was like my sixth football sense kicked in, and I knew they wouldn't let me down. But talking about the press conference today, I think my biggest takeaway really happened. I think my biggest takeaway really happened near the beginning, as Jerry was talking, and he was talking about how everything special that he ever paid for, he overpaid for. Yep. And at that moment, I thought, wait, are we fixing to alter this paradigm? Is there about to be a culture shift in Dallas? Are they finally catching on after 26 years that, when you buy cheap, you're going to get cheap? Are we going to start spending this money? I mean, obviously, there's something to be said for being fiscally responsible, and you want that, and you want your employer to do that. But I think they've taken it a little bit farther than what they probably should. So I felt good about that, and now we've got this time before the draft to see what they're going to do in free agency. Are they really going to do it, or are they just talking to us? Also, Jerry was asked at one point, now that the contract is signed with Dak, what's left for the defense? And then he hemmed and hawed, and he said about 2,000 words that amounted to not an answer to that question.
Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah. I'm interested too. How much are they going to spend on this defense in free agency? You've got plenty of money now. Let's do this thing. And the other thing that I wanted to mention before I let anybody else come on is right before I came over here, I saw that alert about them releasing Olawale. And it reminded me of something because he opted out for last season, which was fine. But J-Tuck, back in the fall, you did a show with West Coast, and you guys talked about the difference in Zeke's stats
with the fullback,
Linehan, and between Kellen Moore, when we would make more use of that fullback and that I formation and Zeke's body type as far as getting through the first level of defense. So when I looked it up, I think Olawale, the last season that he actually played, was on the field for less than 7% of the snaps. So I'd really like to see them replace him, and I'd like to see Kellen Moore incorporate that fullback in and get Zeke some better stats. I feel like we've got a great receiving core. You guys have almost got me on Team Pitts. I mean, I am right on.
I was going to say, because I got a solution for that.
And
come on over, moving the chains. Come on over.
Oh, man.
So we've also got a $90 million running back, and we've got Tony Pollard, who I think is excellent. So we need to make use of every single weapon, and I think the best use of Ezekiel Elliott is behind the back.
Moving the chains, there's a lot to say tonight.
I would kind of hit you with this as well. When you actually had a left guard that had some strength to him, Zeke was a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to go too far. I'll let y'all draw the lines there.
But even Stephen Jones said that tonight. If we have a healthy line, we have a healthy front line. We're gonna do big things with what we have, right? And that needs that protection. He definitely needs it. So moving the chains. Thank you for coming on. Like always, let us know when you're doing that next. You always send it to me, so I appreciate that. So make sure you mention all of us in the next article.
Friday night or Saturday. Friday night.
Okay.
Not 100% sure what I'm going to write about yet, but I'll think of something.
Talk about that.
There was a ton of news today. You have your pick of stuff to write about.
There's always something to talk about in Cowboys Nation.
Absolutely.
So
always. Thanks for coming on.
Gosh,
always love
everything you say. So.
All right.
All right.
Appreciate you.
I want a picture of your cat, by the way. Send me a picture of that dadgum cat. Awesome.
All right. Yeah,
there's a line I could say there, but I'm gonna leave it alone.
I'll stay out. I was going to
I want to send a shout out to my man Philly Notion is up in the building, causing some drama in the chat like always, saying that we overpaid Dak.
I can break that down in less than like 3 minutes and show how we didn't overpay for Dak. He's a smart guy. I see a troll. Yeah. I know a troll. Shout out to Philly Notion though, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Imagine overpaying for a quarterback who's not even on your roster though. Like,
imagine paying more for the quarterback not on your roster to play for the Colts than we're paying for Dak.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. So I do want to touch on what Moving the Chains did bring up. Jerry Jones did say that. He said. The truth is, most anything that I have been involved in ended up being special. I overpaid for. So that's a very strong statement. But is he also kicking himself in the ass by saying that? I'm sorry to say it, but because he's basically saying, oh well, just because somebody's special, I'm overpaying for them, but it doesn't mean that. There's different ways that you guys could look at that. What do you guys think that what's coming off by that message?
I just don't think there was really any intent behind it. I think the cameras and the lights were on and Jerry was just talking. Like, you said back, like he pretty much, this was a Jerry Jones press conference. This was like, no Stephen Jones because, he really didn't say much. Dak was up there, Dak doing his thing, but this was the Jerry Jones show. He had the lights, cameras, and actions in front of him, and he was just talking off the hip, circumcising flies, and and so it's just Jerry, man. But I feel like this is what confuses a lot of people, not only within Cowboys Nation, but outside of it. They think that it's Jerry, right? They think Jerry's the one who got the deal done. Jerry came in, he stepped in. Like, it's not Jerry. It was the guy on the other side, because they even mentioned that Steven and Todd were doing all the talking, but then Jerry gets all the show, the glory, the glitz, and the glamour. So I wouldn't really pay too much into what he was saying about the overpaid statement. I don't think Dak took it as any certain way. It's just, he's accustomed to it. I mean, he knows what he's gotten himself into. Being a Dallas Cowboy, he's a fan. So Jerry just being Jerry.
Man, it was Jerry talk.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it boiled down to, man. It was Jerry talk at the end of the day. The lights were on, the cameras on. He's been caged up for a while. So, I mean, he had to do what he had to do. So it's Jerry talk. It's much to do about nothing. It's something that I've preached even before I got into this game. I've preached this for 5 years. I'm going on my 3rd year now. Philly, I'll touch that in a second. I got you, player. Don't worry about that. But the thing is, it's Steven. And I've been saying, hey, man, it's Steven forever. That's what you got to look at. And case in point, you got all the nuggets. If you're really paying attention, that you need to know that this thing is ran by Steven. As soon as the reporter asked the question, how are you going to pay the defense? Jerry jumped the gun, said, oh, I want to hear it too. It cocked himself sideways and looked at Steven. Right. Whenever Steven did talk, Steven said, oh, well, France, beat me to the punch and called me. Didn't call Jerry. He called me. So, man, hey, man, again, and back to what KD said, back to what my guy Tug said, man, this was Easter Sunday. Right. Jerry getting his peacock on, letting it fly. And as far as Philly Notion down here, real quick, so nobody should get paid, right? Everyone should just draft a quarterback. Even if they've won a Super Bowl, what you're saying is even if they won a Super Bowl in their first 4 years, all right, we can't win no more with them. Let's trade them and go draft another one. Like that asinine thinking, that's low-hanging fruit. You're better than that, Philly Notion. I know you are.
I'm gonna say this though, because I wonder why. Why do you guys think that Jerry kind of deads the radio talk and whatnot in the off season? Because I was like, I would want a Jerry Jones show now, like not during the season, but like right now is where we should just turn the mic on, give Jerry the cameras, and let's let him go. But he normally just like kind of tucks off during the off season and comes back on during the season. I would actually, want the opposite. Like,
I mean, he's on that 7-Eleven wine.
Yeah, he's double fisting right now. Like, yeah, let Jerry talk now in the off season. Let him ramble on, and then once we get in the thick of things, now you kind of shut up and go in your hole. But it's actually the opposite. Yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't take it too serious.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. So I want to touch a little bit on Dak. Dak had a lot of positive things to say. He said this before. Dak said, "I never played this game for money," and it's not the first time I heard him say that. Why do you guys think that he keeps saying that? Because it came down to money. This contract came down to, I want to be paid, I want to be guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I agree. I do believe that he loves the game. He loves the Dallas Cowboys. He kept saying it over and over. When I was a kid, all I thought about was being a Dallas Cowboys, and I want to retire a Dallas Cowboy. So do you think that it was about money in the end? Because that's a very strong statement to say.
And I'll take one first, James. And low key, if Dak actually answered that within the confines of the conference, play this game. Look, and all that, he plays the game not for money and everything else. But he also mentioned it's his due diligence. We have to understand, and this is where fans lose sight, is there's a business side to this. There's the NFL. Well, there's also the NFL Players Association, right, and the union and everything. And Dak even spoke on this. He goes, "Hey, that fraternity and that brother, whenever your time's up, you have to do what's right. Not just, and it's not really just for him, but it's for like what he did today. Well, guess what that does for Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, right? Baker Mayfield, right? Now the floor is his money. They go forward, right? And that's just part of that. That's part of this other side of it. Sure, the money's great, and he loves the money and everything that's happening. And you want to be paid. You want to, the term was respected by your employer. Right. And be paid. You don't want to do, if you're doing all the work for an employer and they're paying you like you're a bag boy, you're going to feel some type of way. So there's some of that, right? There's some respect in there. But honestly, at the tail end of it, what I believe is what Dak said. Hey, it's not just about me. I have to do it for everybody else in this league that's going to come behind me. And that's how this league has been built. And this, and he's doing that for the players that came from, no matter what everybody thinks about Jimmy Garoppolo. Remember, Jimmy Garoppolo was the highest paid quarterback 6 games afterwards. Blame San Francisco for this quarterback market skyrocketing if you want to. So now the next person has to pick up that baton and run with it. I like this thing that's floating around about Patrick Mahomes and, Patrick Mahomes, he took a team-friendly deal, blah, 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 blah. I said, it's funny, though. They say he took a team-friendly deal. Here's the one thing they never say. Shout out to you, Colin Cowherd. He also, within taking that team-friendly deal, became the highest-paid quarterback ever in NFL history. So it sounds team-friendly, sure, but he also became the highest-paid quarterback ever. So, the truth is somewhere in the eye of the beholder. But at the end of all of this negotiations, 3 years, what's happened, what Dak was doing, what was best for his brotherhood of the NFL players moving forward.
Cool. Okay. What do you think, Jay?
I agree. I don't think from Dak's standpoint it's about money. Now, of course, money is always going to play a role in a professional sport. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. But I feel like for the most part, it was getting a respectable offer from Dak to be, where he actually stood. Because think about it, James Slater mentioned this yesterday. Like until like pretty much last year, Dak was making on average about $600,000. And so you sit back, you see the Carson Wentz, you sit back and see the Jared Goffs, you see these other, your other, competing quarterbacks, contemporaries deals. Yeah. And you're sitting back thinking, okay, so I've done everything right. I got playoff wins. I'm not causing any issues. I'm leading the locker room. I'm doing everything the right way. Why is it with me? All of a sudden there's this negotiations in the stronghold to not pay me my money. So I feel like from Dak's aspect, that's really what it was. It wasn't that he wanted to be, higher than Pat Mahomes and had to really break the bank. I feel like he was willing to work with the Cowboys if the Cowboys were willing to work with him. And I felt like it really just took, this week to finally get to that point where they're like, okay, got a respectable offer. I'll give you guys a friendly deal to work with under the cap so you guys can add on more pieces to make this team, Super Bowl contenders. and we'll go from there. But it wasn't going to be your way or the highway. Dak was like, no. So he had to put his foot in the stand. And like Nick said, the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jackson that come after him, he owes them their responsibility. Same thing with Zeke, because as soon as Zeke got paid, boom, there's Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, and then we got Saquon coming through. So it's only a temporary where you're going to be paid the highest, whatever, amongst your peers, but eventually you just want to set that tone and keep the market high. Because if it was a setback, and let's say he took a $32 million offer, then they're going to sit back and think, well, this is what the market for Dak Prescott is. And and so it's like, it's a business aspect. And I think a lot of people don't see that. We're not playing Pee-wee football anymore. There's a lot more components to it.
Right.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. I think next year, Dak definitely set the tone for the next QB to be paid. And Dak, as of next year, Dak won't be up there as the highest paid QB. He's going to drop.
And a key component as well that was talked about during this press conference is, and even Mike Fisher kind of talked about this a little bit later, that it was a major key. When I heard it, I was like, okay, we've heard a couple of different quarterbacks that are, number 2 and number 3 paid that have maybe some issues and want to get out of their contracts, or not contracts, but go to other teams. They wanted to say so in the organization and whatnot, and Watson and Wilson. And they came out up front and said, oh, yeah, Dak's going to have a say in this roster.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've all asked, right, even right now on the show, the missing component, that might have been the thing that said, okay, let's get this deal done now. Oh, you're going to give me a say? Bet. Let me sign.
Right. Exactly. So there has to be some give.
Yeah, he was asked that. I think one of the reporters did say to him, do you have any say about who the Dallas Cowboys should go get in a free agency? And he clearly said, yeah, I definitely know who I'd like to go after, but I'm going to let these guys handle it. But I think he will definitely have a say about
Dak is now in full control. Like, so to expect him to have some more freedom when it comes to the offense, And the one question that I wanted to be asked that really wasn't asked was about his relationship with Kellen Moore. That was kind of, swept under the rug, because we also noticed there wasn't not a lot of mentions about a certain head coach.
Well, let me ask y'all. Let me ask y'all this question. There was a point in time where Jerry said there was a great coach. He didn't say head coach. Here's the key. He said it was a great coach about to walk out the building if Dak wasn't going to be here. For me, and I put it because I was live streaming the event. I put major key. I don't think he was talking about
Mike McCarthy.
He was talking about Kellen Moore.
And he kind of caught himself. He was like,
a little bit later, then he kind of talks about Mike McCarthy some. But when he said there was a great coach about to lead the building, I was like, oh. I said, "Look at you." Jerry had to reel himself in real quick.
That's when Stephen Jones probably grabbed the glass. All right, enough.
There was a few times, I don't know if you noticed, when Jerry Jones was asked something, he'd be like,
He was, like I said, lights, camera, action. But I was like, not a lot of people caught that. I was like, so it was a great coach that was getting ready to leave if Dak Prescott wasn't brought back. And I highly doubt it was Mike McCarthy. I don't think he was pounding tables out. And I was like, and all of a sudden, it's all starting to come together because, shouts out to my guy Sky. He had a great interview with Ben DiNucci, and he asked him this question, about his preparation for that Eagles game. He was like, well, Mike wasn't really hands-on. All the work I did was Kellen Moore, and Kellen Moore helped me get prepared for that game. So, I don't want to start no trouble. I'm just
Hey, brother, we just read the tea leaves, right? That's all we do. We just read the tea leaves.
Yeah.
100%, man. So another thing that I think a lot of reporters kept asking him is, how is your injury going? How are you feeling physically, and so on, And one reporter asked, and they said, Dak was asked about his physical type of play, and Dak said it, and I'm glad he said it. He goes, "I've got to be smarter. On a first down, I got to slide, But he said, but if the game's on the line, I will be using my physical play because that's who I am. And you can't change that about me." But, and I said, and I was thinking, I was listening to the whole press conference while I was driving. I was stuck in traffic. And I'm saying to myself, that's got to play with your mind, though. He's, when he's running with that ball and he's gonna be physical for the first few times, it's gonna play with his mind. And he's, and I think a few times he's gonna be like, let me go out of bounds, or let me just take this easy slide because that player is coming towards me kind of quick. Think that he will have that? He will be the same person, or do you think that he's gonna take less chances?
I think he'll. Oh, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I'll say Antonio.
Yeah, I think it won't play any impact in Dak's game, because if it was going to play impact, it would have been last year, and we didn't see any drawback last year. Now that you actually have the long-term security,
Right.
you're playing with house money for the most part. So, and even think about the play that he got injured. I vividly remember I said, "Get in the weight room, little." And then Dak was hurt because it was a stiff arm, it was a side. So it wasn't like he, was doing anything out of the norm. It was a simple little stiff arm to get the extra yards. And so, I think that's always going to be a part of Dak's game. Now, when he will use it, he might be a little bit more conscious of when to go and when not to go. But I feel like he said, if the game was on the line, it's a playoff game, and it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2, he needs that tough yard, he's going to put his head down and go for it. And whatever happens, happens. And I feel like now he has that long-term security, knowing that he's going to be okay if something was to happen. So.
Yeah, I mean, it'll last until he gets hit.
Right.
That's it. Once he's back on the field, that first little contact, it'll be business as usual. Right. And that's coming from, look, if you played this game, look, there's just certain things that look, you have to understand when you played this game in your mind, there's just certain things. If you feel some type of way about an injury, here's what typically happens. You might be a smidge tentative, but as soon as you get that first contact, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm back. I'm invincible. Right. And there's no way for, like, the way that Dak plays, I just don't think there's a way he's going to be able to turn it off, because that's his game. In this rewind, right? Because the biggest thing in Cowboys, they just said, man, we wish Dak ran more. Right. And he didn't run more. Like, he picked and chooses his parts. I don't think that's going to change. And look, man, if I'm Dak Prescott, here's this 5'9", 5'10", man, get off me.
Yeah, right.
I just, in the heat of the moment, once you're in there and the juices are flowing, right. I just don't see all of a sudden that's going to be like, oh, I got 5 yards, I'm going to slide. Maybe his runs will be more to the outside so he go out of bounds, but I just don't think that makeup is him. Now, if he alters that and he practices that, puts that in his game, and then he can flip that switch whenever he wants to, maybe so. But for me personally, outside looking in, as a just don't see changing from that. So, more weapons though. If you get Pitts though, he ain't got to worry about it. He
ain't gonna do all that, man.
It's fine. I'm sorry, whatever I can. I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, look, blame Steven. Steven set us up for the Pitts pick. Anyways.
Yeah, hey, that's what I'm saying, man. Hey, Stephen Jones is all aboard the Pitts train. He didn't say it, but I caught it. I got it right here on my notes, man.
Yeah, he said it, man.
Yeah. That's how you missed out on a CeeDee Lamb. So if he falls, I said, okay, let's go, Steve. I like what you said, man. Let me order a New Jersey real quick. Let me get another hat.
I just hate we gotta wait so long for the draft, man.
Yeah,
so much that could happen between now and then.
Yeah.
So
agency.
Definitely. So remember the other day I brought up a topic and I said, I think you brought it up, Nick. I apologize. About the pressure, about Dak
in the
signing the contract, and he touched on that, right? And he said the signing the contract add more pressure. Dak's response was, not for me. Pressure is privilege, and I'm privileged to have it. The higher expectation creates higher results,
right?
And he practiced that question. That was a great response to that. That was a great response to that. I was like, man, bro.
And look, there are players, though. There are players. Look, and especially more for me on the basketball side than the football side when I played. I know it doesn't look like I played basketball. Trust me, though. I was, man. Y'all saw that 16-year-old Knicks on Facebook. I was a hooper, man. I was a hooper. Loved that Knicks game. And the thing was, man, regular ass game. I mean, I was cool with it, but the higher the stakes were in the game, man, the more I was able to lock in more. When I played in tournaments and stuff like that, my stuff went up. My coach could never figure it out. I said, man, hey, man, if it don't matter, I don't know. It was weird for me that way, and I think that's kind of what Dak was speaking to. Oh yeah, and again, and I said it. Look, we talked about it the other night. It's like, hey, sure. With that kind of contract, when you pay the quarterback, even though people will say we can't pay the quarterback, it comes with the check. That's one of my sayings. Everything comes with the check. And when you get that check, sure, the expectation is, hey, all this story is great. 4th round pick, what you did at Mississippi State, you're the 3rd guy on the depth chart, 13-3, all that is out the window now. It doesn't matter. The only thing they're going to judge, and I'm in different NFL groups, you know what I've seen? The little polls. Hey, well, what's that going to do in 4 years? So 1 playoff, 2 playoffs, 3 playoffs, win a Super Bowl champ. Look, those aren't even Cowboy fans talking about it. So the outside thing is that. But again, you're probably right. He did get ready in practice for this question.
Oh yeah,
but I do believe. But on the same token of that, I do believe he believes it. And I do believe, and you can look, forget what he's done in Dallas. Go back to Mississippi State when the stakes were high. Man, you just saw Dak turn it on. I mean, he went down to the LSU. You saw what he did. You know, so I do believe the pressure doesn't really affect him in that way, and that's what makes him different. And that, you know, hey, if the stakes are higher, I think Dak will ultimately play better.
Yeah. What you agree, Jay?
Yeah, I agree. I think what people forget about Dak Prescott, he's just a proven leader and a proven winner, and he likes that. Some people, like myself, they rally around that. Like, you know, if you watch The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, like he used to go in and create controversy with the opposing team to get fired up for a game. I need the hate. I need you to talk crap about me, say I can't do it, and that fuels him. So that whole, you know, his rookie year, you know, he shouldn't be starting over Romo, you know, and he's just went on that streak, continued to go on that streak, and then it was like he wasn't going to be anything without Ezekiel Elliott, and so every time they start to throw these little, you know, darts at Dak, it seems to motivate him and fuel him. So all you Dak haters, don't stop now. Keep it up. Saying, you know, like, no, don't call back.
And,
you know.
and in the press conference, he actually said about something that bothered him.
Yeah. He said that he hates the people that told him that he gambled.
Right.
He hated it.
Right. He hated it.
Right.
I was like, oh. There's that,
and then Clarence Hill. So when you gambled on your, he literally just said, he literally just said,
I hated it. You know, it's like, okay, so now he's in the crosshairs or whatever. And you know, and on the same time, some people shy away from it too. You know, as you said, it rallies people. Some people shy away to it. You know, well, hey, boy, don't hear Carson Wentz answer a question about pressure. Right. But even move that aside, I'm gonna use one of my favorite movies, the old The Replacements, right? Yeah. Classic. And they're having a meeting, right? And he's asking, hey, you know, the head coach is in front of him, and old Shane Falco just said, quicksand. No matter what you're doing, you're sinking, blah blah blah. And to me, it was like basically, and I just don't believe that about that. You know, look, as much as I love Romo, I don't ever think he really per se shrunk in the moment. You know, but I don't think he exuded. I don't think he. And when we're talking about Romo versus Dak in this kind of situation, I don't think he relished the moment either at times. I know Dak Romo's the ultimate competitor, but I think, you know, these things hit people differently. And, you know, again, there was a lot of nuggets, if you paid attention to this press conference from everybody that talks, that was really good, man.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like, you know, Dak also mentioned something that was critical for me was about changing the culture, you know, and I feel like he has the mindset to change the culture, because you think about it, historically, the Cowboys, you get your money, you're set for life. You don't have to worry about nothing. You're good. But I think, you know, hopefully Mike McCarthy is starting to instill a new culture that, hey, ain't nothing safe. You know, if we draft a young defensive end and he comes out wrecking havoc, DeMarcus Lawrence, you might be on the chopping block. You know, if CeeDee Lamb comes out, you know, having an extravagant year, and Mari Cooper and Michael Gallup continue to drop passes, well, you know, like I feel like we all grew up playing sports. That's how it was. Nothing was given, nothing was for granted. And like Dak was always the guy all the way from high school, always having to play from behind and prove himself. It was a you know, quarterback getting hurt in high school. He got the opportunities. Same at Mississippi State. The same was NFL career. So he's more cut from being more kind of a bench player mentality versus a starter. Everything's kind of given to me.
Right. So, I'm going to all these little conferences and
right.
Yeah.
Right. And so I like that about Dak Prescott. I mean, you know, not to even turn stuck in the Eagles conversation, but I think Jalen Hurts kind of possesses that as well, because he's been through it. And so he's kind of been like, all right.
I don't like it either.
Yeah, I know. I hate it. But I feel like, you know, that's kind of that mentality. It's like, you know what? If you want to take my job, come take it from me. I mean, I was raised that way. I know others who are, and Dak seems to be that guy.
You know, in case of point, look, I was a Hurts fan before he got to the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate that he's on the Eagles. I'm not trying to turn this into a bunch of Eagles talk. But boy, in that very last game when they benched him and he was on the sideline talking about it wasn't right and everything, I was like, damn it, I want to love you, but I gotta hate you.
I hate it. I hate it that they got Hurts, man. If they give him one of these weapons, bro, I'm gonna be so mad. But but some people are just cut from that cloth, man, because they had to earn everything they got in their sports career. And so it's like, if you want to have a quarterback competition, do it. Let's line it up and see whatever happens. He's not going to beat me. So
no, 100%. And you guys touch on that, and you know, you guys talked about him always have to prove himself and come from behind. Most of the games that he did play, he was coming from behind.
Right.
You know,
and people were counting him out.
Exactly. You know, and he was asked, you know, and again, they brought this up in the press conference. They said, if you weren't injured, how different would the season have been? And he basically said that he would have took us to the Super Bowl because he said he would have won that game that he got injured. He would have won the next one after that, the next one after that, and he said he would have got us to that Super Bowl. We all know, us in this channel, us realistic people, that would have probably, you know what? I think we would have had a better record. That I do have to say. I do believe we probably would have won the NFC East, in my opinion. Would he have gotten us to that Super Bowl? No. I got to be realistic, and
I feel like that goes into back to what I was saying about the mindset, though. He thought, last year was Super Bowl. I think majority of NFL athletes, if they're cut from the proper cloth, they go into thinking that is Super Bowl. Like right now, every team is thinking they're a Super Bowl caliber team, regardless of the situation. And so I don't want Dak to be like, well, if I'd have played a few more games, we'd probably just been 8-8. Like no, like he was, Super Bowl, and that's the kind of mentality that you got to have. And so hopefully this starts to leak through the locker room and other guys feel that way. And I think, what we saw earlier on last year was there were games where we sat back and all watched them together thinking there was no chance. And all of a sudden Dak was thinking, just give me the ball back, give me the ball back. And all of a sudden you start to feel that like, bro, we're only down by a touchdown. Get us the ball back, defense, and let's come back in. So, I think he adds that layer that once he was gone last year, we didn't have it because we knew Andy Dalton, get you the ball back, and then what you're going to do. So,
I mean, the funny thing about it is, and this is where I say him and Patrick Mahomes are in the same realm, right? Because you go back to the Super Bowl run of Kansas City, they were down by 10 plus points every game. What was it? How much were they down to the Texans?
Like 20,
24 nothing.
Yeah.
And they were never. Now, nobody said those were garbage yards for old Patrick Mahomes.
No.
But no. But again, look, it was the belief we have that guy behind center. We can come back and do these things, and that's where look, Patrick Mahomes is number one, and I'm not trying to put Dak where it's saying he's there. Now I've already said Dak to me is number 4 in the league, maybe number 5 if you give me the.
Okay, I'm gonna interrupt you, and I'm gonna cut you off.
They're similar. Oh no, that's fine. Okay.
No. The reason why I'm gonna cut you off is because I felt that Mahomes was exposed at the Super Bowl, and I think that give Dak the same protection that Mahomes has, I think he could be up there.
I don't know that. No,
I know as a Cowboys fan, we're supposed to believe that. Now, Pat Mahomes, even though he played poorly in that Super Bowl for what happened, you saw his talent. Like that throw that he made when he was parallel to the ground, like he can only do stuff like that, man. So you think from just a pure talent perspective, Pat Mahomes is completely different because there's things that he can do that not a lot of quarterbacks can do. Only person I can kind of see comparable to that would be my probably number 2 guy, which is Aaron Rodgers, where it's just like, bro, how the hell did you do that?
Aaron ain't gonna be parallel to the ground, flick it for 30 yards and put it on point. I love Aaron,
but I've also seen live and direct Aaron Rodgers on one leg and strike us, and in the playoffs and put a dot on 3rd and 20. And so it's like it's things like that. Right, so it's just things like that. When he got the ball, you're just like, bro, what's about to happen? And I feel like Pat Mahomes possesses that. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, even Tom Brady to extent, but that's the upper echelon. But I don't feel like Dak is too far beneath that. That he can't win ball games and get us to ultimately where we're trying to go.
The lunatic.
What's up, bro? Well, the lunatic. What's up, man? I saw you drop in. I guess you were listening, so you must have something that you want to say. Get it off your chest, man.
First of all, thank you, Sid. My guy, Nix, J Tuck, thank you very much for this trying time. This damn Dak negotiations went on for far too long. I did not need to listen to what Jerry and Steven were going to say, especially Steven in the press conference. I just wanted to hear our leader, Dak. And guess what? He did not disappoint.
Talk to him, bro. Talk to him, bro.
Oh yeah, exactly. He was on point.
Yeah.
Now again, this to me was a common sense signing. A lower salary cap, 182.5 million.
Right.
And if you franchise tag him, he counts almost 38 million against him. It's common sense.
Right.
It's common sense. You need to extend him. You need to sign him. So Steven, they said he did most of the heavy lifting. I think that heavy lifting was going up to Todd Pence says, okay, finally, what do you want? And Jerry coming in and smoothing out the wrinkles, just like he did. Now what I want to know is we're seeing it. Those salary cut cuts from other teams. We freed up $17 million by restructuring basically our offensive line. Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins, Zach Martin.
Right.
Are we going to be players? Because I've said it, we are in our window. Look at our coordinators. Look at our head coach. We're in our window. Jerry and Steven pushed most of their chips in by doing a common sense and signing Dak. Now, are they going to go and do what they don't do and spend for quality free agents who will be available? Thanks to that lower salary cap, the middle class of the free agent market will be squeezed. Whereas before they could have gone to the highest bidder, now teams are drastically making cuts to get underneath that salary cap because nobody anticipated COVID. Now, will we be players? Not week 2, not week 3, not a week before training camp, where we can go out there and get decent talent.
Right. No,
we need to be that.
Lunatic, I think we are. I think we are going to be players because the simple fact, I think when you look at the structure of this contract, right? You look at the structure of this contract, and I talked about this before we even got to the press conference today on a couple of different shows. This contract, to me, when I looked at it, I saw the breakdown. I saw the 22.1, the 33.1, right? Man, KD Drummond dropped an amazing thing on catch this fade. Dak's, I promise you, Dak's cap number next year is going to be 18 million. This is the window. They missed, look, the spotlight is directly on Stephen Jones now, the way that this thing is structured. So here's what happened. The contract's done. Okay, Dak said, I heard the pie. I got you. I'm going to get my money, but I'm going to give you those 2 years on the tail end, give you the pie, go do the work. And then here's the nuggets that you got to hear. Dak gets to say a little bit on who's coming in here. Whenever they asked, hey, building this defense, Jerry looked at Stephen. Hey, what are we doing? We know that the Cowboys missed the first 4 years in the rookie deal. Tag on the 5th year on the tag, even if you want to, right? The window is now 3 to 4 years. It absolutely is. They have the way. So, yes, I think absolutely they are good players for the first time underneath the Stephen Jones era. I'm not telling you they're going to go out here and sign day 1, day 2, 3, 4 guys. What I am saying is, and I've said this from the get, they're going to go get a splashy guy in the front 7. I do believe that. Whether it's Dalvin Tomlinson or somebody else, I do think they're going to do that because this run defense is atrocious. We give up over 150 yards last year. I don't care who your quarterback is. Don't care. Right. If you're giving up 150 yards rushing, you're not winning shit in this league. Sorry, Sid. So
that's good. No, it's good. Man, the Lunatic, thanks for dropping in. I appreciate you all the time. Thanks for following all of us because every time we're streaming, I know you're in there and you're
shout out to Lunatic, man.
Yeah, that love and support, man. And
hey, whenever Knicks and J Tug do a 6-hour stream, you know I'm gonna be there.
Hey, 6 hour gang in the building, baby.
6 hours, man.
Thank you again for keeping us informed. Now let's make the moves, Jerry and Steven, especially Steven.
Yes, sir.
Either writing on the wall. Let's get number 6 and more. Let's go.
And I'll say this real quick.
Lunatic's got me fired up, boy.
I feel like right now, I think we're actually going to see a time in Dallas Cowboys history where we haven't seen where the coaching style was actually going to match the front office. And I feel like we saw Mike McCarthy last year, who's extremely aggressive. It's time for to put everything in sync. So we're going to be aggressive on the field. We're going to go for it on 4th down, and continue to do these play actions and all this sorts of stuff going on. But also, when it comes to free agency, let's be aggressive. Like, let's go win now. And Stephen kept mentioning, Jerry's age. He only got about 4 or 5 years, give or take. So it's like, let's go in now. Let's see the opportunity that we have with this Dak contract. Because that window is, it's going to shrink over time. Let's go now.
It's now. When we talk, and look, unfortunately, maybe it took Jerry getting to this age to make it happen. But here we are. And again, I talked this with Sid on his show, my channel, J Tuck's channel. Rome, you've heard me talk about it. Man, we've been sitting here, even during the Romo years to a certain extent, waiting to see the Cowboys push their chips in and go all in. Right. And low-key, I think the time is now. I think the way you look at the structuring, what's happening, what's available, what we need, how it matches up. I just think Jerry Jones's age, he's out here in 7-Eleven now getting his wine because Steven's got him on the dadgum salary cap. I think the time is now, though. I really do. I really think the next 2 years you're going to see Steven be more active than you have seen him. Again, when I say more active, let's be relative here. I don't want you to say, day one, the Cowboys signed 3 big guys. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we would never expect a Dalvin Tomlinson to walk through the door. What I'm saying now is I absolutely believe there's a Dalvin Tomlinson top signing that's going to happen this year. That's what I believe.
Right. Man, before we move on, as you guys notice below me right here, the man, the other big Dallas Cowboys.
Wrong.
Cowboys fans. They got the gentleman Jack, getting this going. So before I get started,
just a drink we like to drink.
Yeah. So before we get started, Rome, please let them know where to find you, and then let us know how you feel about the press conference today, man.
Hey, and before you go, man, bro, appreciate you, brother. I'm sorry I can't stick around longer. I got to jump over to Star Gang. Hey, man, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Make sure, man, give Sid that love, man. Sid, we're glad you're back, man.
Yeah, man, this is it, man. I'm back.
Yeah, we're glad to see you back. I hope to see you more. Absolutely, man. Appreciate you, man. Going? Do what?
How long y'all about to go for?
Oh, man, come on through. I don't know. It will be 6 hours.
I'll tell you what. Jay, you're jumping on over there?
Yeah, I got to go. Yeah.
Okay, so listen, Rome, we're gonna definitely let's just move over to BJ's channel. We're gonna continue this there.
Well, I'll just watch, and if they want to bring me on, they can. I ain't trying to bogart their joint.
he loves it, man. He loves it. He won't mind. But before I don't want to let you go without asking you a few questions, because there's a few people in here probably want to hear what your take is on everything. Please let me know. Let the fans know where to find you, and let me know what you thought about the press conference today, man.
Hey, man, y'all can find me at Cowboys Fan Talk on YouTube, Cowboys_Fan Talk on Twitter, and Cowboys Fan Talk on IG. As far as the press conference, man, I just like to finally see the organization moving in one accord. Last couple of years it's been everyone's talking a good game, but it's been the moves haven't matched up with the talking. It's kind of like what Nick said before he jumped off. I'm sure you guys touched on it earlier. We as content creators, we'll come on and we'll say what we think should happen, what probably makes sense to happen.
Yeah.
And the front office and the team would be moving in another direction. I'm not talking about necessarily coaching decisions on the field. I'm just talking about things we want to do with the team. Like we've been saying, if we sign Dak, we can attack in free agency, etc. So it literally was a fork in the road. If they didn't sign Dak, they probably wouldn't have restructured anybody. Only talk would have been, are they going to sign Dak? And we'd have talked about that till what, July?
Yeah.
And that would have been it.
Last year.
We had got our draft picks and we had just got hype about those, but that would have been it. But now it's literally a domino effect. This is what on my channel, I've been talking about Dak continuously for like 2 weeks. Reason why I kept saying is it's a domino effect. So first move was actually getting the deal done.
Yeah.
And then literally within a day of that, a day and a half, they've already restructured 2 people. This is stuff that didn't have, like last year, it took them, it felt like it took this long to sign Mike McCarthy. Like it took like 3 or 4 weeks to just sign the coach.
Yeah.
So far, we've seen three roster cuts, I think. We saw Chris Jones's cut. They cut the fullback. I think another person got cut, if I'm not mistaken. But all of that is minor money. But you are clearing up your whole roster because you're planning on bringing in new faces. Last year, we didn't become players in free agency till almost April.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
2
true.
or 3 weeks in, we was like, okay, we can pick this person off, pick that person off. The restructuring is like, you got to look at the signs. The restructuring immediately is a direct indication that they've already probably been in talks with certain people's agents. Like, you got to think, Todd France is one of the biggest agents. He doesn't just represent Dak.
Yeah, he represents a lot.
And then his partner at their new, because remember they both left major. He has a partner that represents damn near the other half of the league. It's 2 of them. I think his name is like Dave Mulugeta. So they're like the 2 most connected agents in the NFL. My point is the Cowboys can get in touch with any player they want to behind the scenes. They don't have to be public. I'm almost.
You know what? We touched on this a little bit just earlier. Dak is now in control.
Yeah.
Dak is gonna have this. Dak is gonna have to say who we should be going to get in a free agency.
But I don't even think Dak wants to be like. I don't think he's a control freak. Like he wants to pick the agents. I think that Dak wants control. Like, hey, y'all can't stand pat with this roster. I think that's the type of control he wants. I don't think Dak got time to be sitting around talking about, well, I think Dalvin Tomlinson is a great DT. It's more so, hey, y'all, we have these needs. Y'all need to fill them. That's part of why I wanted to resign here. Let's not play around, because you got to think, they won't say this publicly, but the Cowboys are pushing their proverbial chips to the middle of the table. It's like this. Okay, we signed Dak, right? And you got a 2-year window. This is the way I look at it. And it's not that Dak couldn't win after that. My point is, the Joneses, whether they want to admit it or not, were iffy on Dak.
Yeah. No, you know, and I said that earlier. I said Jerry Jones to sit there and say we had no doubt that we wanted to sign Dak. What the hell took so long then?
Come on, that call bull. You know, it is what it is. But
I want to be through the camera and smack him.
But my point is, it's he wants to justify his investment.
Yeah.
So previous to the years, there was no investment to justify. You've been stealing money because he was making $600,000. Now the world is watching, and Jerry don't like to be proven wrong. If he didn't, he wouldn't have mentioned. He comes out and says what all the people in the media have been saying, which means he sits down every morning and listens. He said, well, I'm not going to say if there's a winner or a loser. Why the hell are you bringing that up? That just means that you listen to every pundit, everybody that talks. That's all you do is just sit down and listen, and you take it in. So since in his mind there's a winner or a loser, I'm pretty sure that he's instructed. I'm not saying we about to go out there and be. I don't think he's going to ruin his cap, but he damn sure ain't restructuring them for fun.
No,
we're already, because this is my point. We're already under the cap before the restructures.
Yeah.
We had decent money. We had mid-level free agent money. Making that 17 extra million available and whatever else he gets, right? Because I did a video earlier. We had about 207 million. That's before the restructures. That's just off of the money we carried over from last year, which was 25 million, which I got to give Steven credit for, because as cheap as he was so cheap, we carried over 25 million because it rolls over.
It rolls over, correct.
Like rollover minutes. So we got extra 25 million plus 17, right? That's what, 37? And I know I'm just throwing numbers out there. It's probably
for sure.
A little bit more, a little bit less. But if you got 37, and that's 2 restructures. Now let's say he hasn't restructured. I think he did. Who did they? Tyron and who? Zach?
Yeah, exactly.
So Tyron and Zach. So say he hits D, he definitely gonna be able to restructure Zeke, because they did Zeke a favor by giving him that much money.
Yeah, of course.
So say he restructures Zeke in the coming days. You see Zeke restructured and D-Law restructured. And
I want to see D-Law. I would say D-Law definitely has to be restructured.
Well, all of these restructures, what people think is like, oh, they're losing money. All the players are doing it is agreeing for the Cowboys to pay him a signing bonus.
Yep.
And when you pay him a signing bonus, it doesn't affect the cap for some reason. I guess it's a loophole. But most teams can't stomach that. Dallas is worth billions.
Did you hear what he said about what he paid? How much he paid?
They do the loopholes when they feel like it's necessary. The last couple years, they've been trying to avoid the loopholes. You see what I'm saying? But because they just made this investment, they need to make their investment look like it was an investment. They can't afford to go 8-8 because it's going to piss Jerry off. I mean, obviously, we don't want that. I'm just saying they can't afford that. So what's going to happen is that I see at least 2 more restructures happening. Maybe Jalen Smith, D-Law, Zeke, maybe 3. Maybe they, and it's not that it's going to create. I would say we go into free agency right now. We'd be at what, 37. We go into free agency with about 50 plus. I'm positive.
Yeah, 100%.
And then with 50 plus,
I think the last person to get restructured, honestly, is going to be Zeke. My opinion. I think they're going to go after Jalen and D-Law first.
Well, I would go after Zeke because it's not a punishment. It's just more so, do you want to win too? Everybody's making sacrifices. Dak has made his sacrifice early. He didn't make money like none of y'all for the first 3-4 years. So
and y'all got signed before him too.
So he's made his sacrifice. Now it's your turn. My point is, we will learn a lot with the first 2 or 3 signings. You got to think certain spots are already solidified. We're going to re-sign Cheeto. He's going to count. Right? We're going to bring in Gerald McCoy. Everybody just need to let that go. I know I keep hearing Dalvin Tomlinson. I would love Dalvin Tomlinson. But what I'm looking at is them signing someone to go adjacent to Gerald McCoy if they still have some reticence about Neville Gallimore. I like Neville. I don't think the team is ready to say Neville's a starter. You feel me?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like they're gonna let Neville keep matriculating, and this year they're gonna bring somebody in. So say they sign No's a free agent and Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah, you know what? I would like, as bad as his
And
attitude
Ndamukong
is.
Suh's a good player. Like,
Yeah.
I know he kind of dirty, but I could use some of that attitude on the D line because he can stop the run. So say they bring in Gerald McCoy and Ndamukong Suh. Ndamukong Suh also doesn't get hurt.
No, exactly. He
So
doesn't.
bringing in Ndamukong Suh, and you can get him for like $8 million, right? Right? Solidify that, and he can rotate because he's not the youngest. So you could do Neville, Tristan Hill, Gerald McCoy. So you have 2 young, 2 old. That's your D tackle room. Maybe you draft one. But look, as far as the DN, don't rule out them signing the DN if they don't keep. They got Randy Gregory and D-Law. But every team wants a rotation.
Yeah, exactly.
Alden Smith is a possibility, but we still might sign a. Like if Von Miller hit the market.
Alden Smith is looking for money, though. He's going to be looking for money.
I know, and I can't blame him. He got to cash in. But there's going to be other. It's so like it's going to be the largest free agency crop, and because the cuts haven't happened yet. The cuts happened after today because today they said, all right, this is the number. Right? So
101. They said there was 101 free agents out there.
But listen, this is the best thing ever. Unlike in years past, there's 2 things working against the free agents. One, teams that cut you, some teams can't re-sign. This isn't musical chairs. Some teams are cutting just to get under the cap. Right? Which helps us out. Number 2, you can lowball people because they can't really. They can run the risk of not getting on a roster.
Yeah.
So if you want to play the I'll wait game, you might just be waiting, and then by the time you do get accepted, people going because it's not that teams are being funny. We don't have it. So, or a normal year where you might get a free agent for $14 million, I'm just throwing out a number. You might be able to get that same free agent this year for $9 million.
You know, I was talking to somebody earlier today. With Dak being signed, how many in the weapons that we have? Don't you think free agents or the players are like, that's a team that I want to go play for? Because they know.
Absolutely.
100%.
But I'll tell you this, though. This is what I think. You're going to see the most one-year deals. See, most people don't bet on themselves. Most of the one, maybe 2 deals max. So, like I said, a lot of these players will take a pay cut, but they're going to do it for a year because they're like, okay, the salary cap's effed up. I'm not going to lock myself into a bad deal for 5 years. I'll sign for one with one in a possible. You know, so I do really think that is what we're dealing with. As far as the press conference today, man, I just like to see the confidence. I like that Dak came out and pretty much just let people know that his confidence hasn't wavered. He focused.
He wants that Super Bowl, man. He's hungry.
I have no doubt that he was focused. I just think that perception is reality, right?
Yeah.
And if you let people build your perception, that's what you'll think. Like I did that little series 2 weeks ago on the 5-game stretch of Dax that was misconstrued, the whole garbage time series. Because it like if you let everyone tell it, you'll feel like, oh, Dak just couldn't. He wasn't in games last year. You know, and if you go through those series of games from the Seattle game where we came back and took the lead to the Cleveland game where we were actually in the lead, to the Atlanta game where we actually came back and won the game, in the New York game when we were leading the game when he got hurt.
Yeah, we were.
When you listen to the sports networks, they like to say Andy Dalton came in to save the day. No, we were driving to score.
Yeah,
he'd already taken control of the game. He just broke his leg. And when he broke his leg, what happened was ankle. What happened was it took like a quarter for us to snap out of depression.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's why New York took the lead. We were leading the game 23 to, I think, 20. And we were about to score. And we did score that drive.
Yep.
But New York came back and took the lead because the initial shock, people were still kind of like in their head a little bit.
Yep.
And then we had to come back and win. So that Andy dug a little hole and had to get out of it. But Dak took the lead at halftime by catching a touchdown. Everybody forgets that because he broke his ankle.
Yep.
I remember it was a Philly special rendition. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where they like to like skew the perception of how Dak's, unfortunately, his last 5 or 6 games, he had to deal with his first span of injuries.
Yeah.
Last year, in the LA game last year, his shoulder up. Just like the same injury that they gave Kyler Murray passes on this year is the same as that injury he had in the Philly game last year, the year before last.
Yeah. Listen, I want to welcome Dallas fan. I don't know who this is.
VA Dallas
Cowboys. It's VA Dallas Cowboys fan, my man.
What's up, VA Dallas Cowboys fan, man? Thanks.
Hey, long time watcher.
Yeah.
First time getting in.
I appreciate it, man. I like to do my live streams and I like to leave it open and I like people to come in, voice their opinion, ask whatever questions you want to ask. So please,
right.
What did you think about the conference? Are you happy that we signed Dak finally? And if you have any questions for myself or Rome, please feel free to ask us anything. We're here, man.
You know, me and Rome, we go back and forth every now and then on his channel in the comments.
I go back and forth with everybody in my comments.
Yeah.
But I like the Dak signing. I'm glad it's finally over so we can start concentrating on our draft and free agency finally.
Yeah.
And I agree with you guys. The parts that I took away from the whole presser was Dak's confidence. The fact that he said that he is trying to change the culture here. And the Joneses actually recognizing that they have to be the ones to finally get a team around him.
Yeah.
That in itself means something's going on to making this team better finally.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for that.
Well, you know,
one of those things where they've been trying to get by. They've been trying to, like, you try your hand at, you know, it's like when you go to the grocery store, you like, I'm gonna grab the cheap version. It'll be all right. And then after a couple of weeks, just be like, I can't do this no more. That's what the Jones has been doing. The last couple of years, they've been, because we had been miraculously winning games his first couple of years, and then that kind of came to a halt. And I think they just kind of kept thinking they'll play their way out of it. No, you can't be cheap.
Right.
No, 100%.
And we can now attribute that to Stephen Jones, since apparently he's taking more control.
No question.
Because you know what? Freely dealing Jerry.
Yeah, but did you guys notice Jerry was kind of making it seem like he was the one who pushed for the deal to get done.
Well, that's Jerry.
Right.
You know, he gonna show that in public.
Yeah, you know, because he kept saying that I was telling Stephen that I want to win a Super Bowl and this needs to get done.
Well, I'm telling you this. I think that, like I said, these are still men. They're all human, and unfortunately, most men are very, very prideful.
Yeah.
And
correct.
You get more reaction out of somebody when they got something on the line. You would think that just the mere reputation of the team was enough, but it wasn't. I'm telling you, them putting the stamp on this contract, like actually signing him, is them co-signing we believe in him. They can't front no more. They just put $160 million behind him. So because they can't get on the field and make stuff happen themselves, their way of validating this and making this legitimate in their mind, we got to build around him. Because this got to work whether he good or not. I ain't trying to hate on Dak, obviously. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, in their mind, they're like, we got to make this work whether he roll out there and he's trash.
Yeah.
So they're about to throw so many people around, as many people as they can around him, to make it not like it be a can't fail. That's what I'm looking at. I ain't never seen them do this much stuff right before free agency. It's obviously an indicator. Oh, y'all just restructuring people for fun?
No.
Right.
Like we already were under the cap. They not saving. They're like, you know what? And I'll tell you, one of the first things we're gonna see come across that's not gonna be a surprise is re-signing your own. We'll bring Cheeto back, and we'll sign Gerald McCoy. And then the games will begin. Those two are definitely the first two signings. I can bet on it. We better not re-sign.
The exact same thing. Yep.
We better not re-sign that safety. What's his name? We better not sign Xavier Woods or what's his name?
Oh, everybody's saying
Yeah, it's Woods.
We
Woods.
better not.
Nobody wants Woods, man.
Nah, you can't come out and say I try sometimes when I feel like it. I'm out. I checked out. Go try somewhere else by yourself.
So
yeah, he basically told the world he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes
VA.
somewhere. Hey, I wish him best. Yeah, I just don't want him wearing the star no more.
Yeah. VA. Hold up. Winter, thanks for tuning in. Big respect to Winter Allen for tuning in. Thanks for the shout out. So VA, before I let you go, I just want to ask you, there's two things I want to ask you. What do you think we need to go after in the draft? And what do you think the Dallas Cowboys will do this season with the confidence that we have now with Dak and finally getting the ball going in the right direction?
As far as the draft goes, if we manage to get free agency straightened out and fill up as much of the holes that we have, I don't mind the best player available. I'll get a Kyle Pitts. I'll get a Slater or a Sewell.
Yep.
If we can take care of our business before the draft, I'll get anybody.
Let me ask you.
Heck, I'll even move back.
VA. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you take Chase?
Ooh, that's intriguing. If I don't know the situation with Michael Gallup, I would take a look.
Well, that's the thing. You take Chase because you blatantly are admitting I'm not playing Gallup. And it's it's a business. This ain't got nothing to do with how great I think Gallup is.
Yeah,
exactly.
You reset the financial clock because you signing Dak does mean you're gonna have to start being more, let's say, more concise with what you do with your roster. You can't play around because you got a $40 million quarterback.
You got to protect him.
You make moves like if Chase falls to you, you say, okay, I'll grab Chase. I'm gonna move Gallup for a corner, or I can't think of a good defender, but there's defenders. There'll be people available, right?
Right.
And then you get Chase on a 4-year rookie scale, and you just reset the clock. And by the time Coop's contract gets to where you can move him, you can move off that $20 million, right?
Right.
And then by the time the Coop's money will get replaced by a CD, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
And then what you would pay your second receiver would become Chase. Now, this is all hypothetical. All I'm saying is you got to make these decisions. You can't if you don't get Pitts, because look, it's musical chairs. There's at least 3 quarterbacks that are going to go in the top 10.
Yeah, at least 3.
Right?
Yep.
And then there's 2 tackles. That's 5 people, right?
Already.
Right? There's at least 3 receivers. Right?
Right.
And then there's what was I gonna say?
Somebody's gonna
Monte Smith, Jamar Chase.
Somebody's gonna start taking the corners, possibly.
And then Pitts. Right? And that's me just assuming no one's gonna take any defenders, no one's gonna trade in, blase. My point is, as much as people don't want, because the world doesn't want nobody to fall to us, they just don't.
They don't.
Right.
But
they're mad about last year when CD fell.
Someone will be there.
That's true.
Because not to be funny, and this is no slight, like I said, no slight to Gallup. We just call a spade a spade. Every one of those receivers are better than Gallup as far as potential wise. Because before Waddle got hurt, he was talked about like Chase.
That's true.
And Waddle just hurt his ankle like Dak. So if we can look there and have confidence that Dak's going to be 100%, you can't be hypocritical and be like, well, Chase is injured or Waddle's injured. You got to think one of those explosive weapons will fall to us, and it might not be Pitts, but we got to be savvy enough to say, okay, I'll take it because I have other plans. There are teams right now that will take Michael Gallup because he's established.
True.
Because I'll flip Gallup for Stephon Gilmore right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Patriots will take it because the Patriots are king of move off a contract before a person gets too old, and Gilmore's coming off an injury.
Right.
So that's my point. It's just like, or you can flip him for a DT because, well, you're not going to trade in division.
No.
But I'm sure I got to look at the actual who would be available, what young. But there are teams that need receiver help that will 100%.
Badly.
100% take Michael Gallup. And if we can get a defender, because we just drafted a rookie receiver, you do it. You just do it. Now we get Pitts, same thing. We can flip one of them tight ends. And I love Jarwin and Schultz. But you don't pass up on that type of best player available.
Oh, no.
Right.
And
Like,
nothing personal. It's just business.
Tackles neither. The tackles you got to keep.
Guys, I'm letting you know now. Somebody's gonna fall. Somebody's gonna fall on our lap.
There's
again.
too many. It's not enough seats.
Yeah,
exactly.
Look,
you know what? And we're gonna be aided when we do it.
What if a quarterback falls to us, right? Then you get smart and you say, "Well, who won them?" You start working the phones, and you get more picks. You can't lose. So, like, if we looked up and something weird happened, and Justin Fields is on the board, that's great for us. We say, "Okay, F it. We'll move back to 15." Who won Justin Fields?
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
you named it at 15.
There's gonna be.
I think that's New England.
You take the Joker.
Yeah, this year is gonna be. This year's draft is going to be very. I keep saying it. It's going to be.
So even if a quarterback falls to us, that's an asset. It's not like, oh, a quarterback fell to us, that sucks. No, if Justin Fields falls to us, I'm on the phone. Who won him? Flash sale. What's going on? And you get an extra. You might not get a first round, but you might get an extra second rounder. Now we can get J.C. Horn and another. Like, so if all them skill players go, and or if the world want to mess around and let one of them tackles fall to us. Because if Slater fall to us, we just gonna run him at guard for a year or two.
Yeah,
right.
And then our line's gonna return in 2016. So you can't really if the Joneses are like me, and I'm just a regular guy with a regular day job. They got full-fledged professional analysts. They should be thinking like I am. Like, yo, we can't lose at 10.
I don't know if you noticed, but Stephen Jones kind of hinted at Pitts.
Yeah, I think he hinted at. Yeah, I'll take a receiver.
Yeah,
too. Like he just like, hey, y'all. I'm not taking Surtain just because y'all think I am.
Exactly. He's keeping his options open for anybody making them phone calls.
And last year, you saw their faces when CD fell on our lap. They couldn't believe it. And
but look, if the world this is what I think is going to happen, man. Pitts ain't going to get to Philly. You know who's going to take Pitts? Atlanta.
Yeah,
they going to put Pitts right next to Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. And it's going to piss Philly off because they're already dead set on taking Pitts.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's cool. Because like I said, my dream scenario, because I'm a defensive person, is a quarterback that fall to me because it would justify the trade back.
Right.
And I would let it trade back and get 2 defenders. Because now if we traded back and got like a great corner and a linebacker, like we were able to trade back, get J.C. Horn and Jeremiah from Notre Dame. Oh, right. I'm lit. I'm good. That's all I want. If we can get both of them because we got a chance to trade a quarterback, fine. But if we draft Pitts, I'm gonna be happy. I mean, it's Kyle Pitts. I'll be all right. I ain't gonna lose sleep.
A lot of people will be, man. VA, what do you think we're gonna do this season? And how do you think that with the confidence that Dak has, and all the moves like you're saying that needs to be done in free agency? And I'm with you, VA, because I said it last week on Nick's show. I said we need to sign Dak on Monday, and I said it because then we need to start looking at the free agency because there's no way we can go after the free agency without signing Dak.
Exactly.
That would be the dumbest move. We signed Dak. Now we're going to put the pieces in place with the free agency and in the draft. And where do you think the Dallas is going to be going into the season?
Well, with the 17th game, possibly. I want to say possibly 10-7. I can see something going wrong defensive wise or special teams wise, but with the offense we got, we can run with anybody. We just got to fix our special teams and defense.
In my opinion, I think we're going 12. I think we're going 12-5.
12-5 and 13-4. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you.
You know why? Yeah, I know football isn't like this, but we have too many quarterback confused teams on our schedule.
Right. True. And I did see your video about him outplaying 13 other teams.
It's just, look, I know like there's certain teams that I feel like would normally in normal circumstances be a problem for us.
Right.
But this year it's too many teams in flux as far as watch these cuts that's about to happen. Like the Raiders just let go of their one of their prominent linemen.
Right.
And the Raiders are going in the other direction because they got to free up cap space. They've been a little bit too cap happy the first couple of years with Gruden. So
Right.
Raiders is going to get now. Look, the Cardinals might be on the uptick, so we'll keep an eye on them. Just as far as because they're trying to surround Kyler with a lot of people, but
Right.
there are like Washington. As much as I want to say, like people like that defense, they about to be crucial because what they do is they're going to find a way to make Philly's on a. They try to say Philly's on a downslide because of all the moves they've had to make. So now the media is starting to pump Washington up. They got to have a rival for us. They're not going to just let us live.
We just can't own the division with no distractions.
Yeah, so they're gonna pump up Washington. Washington's probably going to end up with Sam Darnold or somebody, and that'll be our number one competition. But just looking at that schedule, I don't see 13 might be overzealous, but do I see 11 or 12 wins? You're damn right. Not even like I have no doubts about that. Because we won 6 games we had like 5 quarterbacks last year.
Sure.
We definitely win. We win the first Philly game. We win the Pittsburgh game. There's a bunch of games. First of all, Washington does not sweep us.
No.
That's 4 wins right there.
And Washington's having. Didn't they just release Alex Smith?
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. So
and not to be funny, we should have won that Rams game. We all know. I watched the rest of the season. We all know that was a bullshit call.
Yep.
That was a flop if I've ever seen one.
I watched for the rest of the season. I saw all kinds of push-offs and everything like that. Way worse. Nothing.
Yep.
And if the refs call that legit like they should, that's a W. And they don't give look because of the arm bar and the bullshit call, they don't give the credit that he made that throw right on time. Perfect.
Right.
You feel me?
Yep.
Yeah,
and I'm sick of people saying he ain't a deep ball passer.
If our defense could have held, we'd have beat Seattle because we came back and took the lead.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and we should have beat the Seahawks too. That I agree.
No question. I can say this: the Browns game, although we got within 3, the momentum might carry us. Because if they don't just let Odell run a wild reverse
in the round, right?
Yeah.
If they hold them and if they give Dak the ball back once, we tie. We get a field goal.
Yep.
Zerline can hit a field. We'd have got a field goal. Now I don't know if we would have won. The Cowboys fan in me says yes, but we would at least tie.
Right.
And then let the chips fall where they may in overtime. But I'm just saying, like, I know it's something in football, and this is another thing people don't give credit to. When you watch your quarterback get carted off, you don't play the same for the rest of the year.
No, you don't, man. Look what happened to Zeke. Do you think Zeke, the fumbles, listen?
You just slightly checked out. You going through them.
Yeah.
I know they're
it weighed on him.
I get it. But when you start realizing, I don't know if we're going. You know what I'm saying? I saw a couple plays last year after we lost Dak where it's like, y'all ain't really into it.
Right. The calls, remember the calls too, the 4th down calls. I don't even want to get started on those.
It's just I just feel like the confidence, football game of emotion before anything. Before skill. That's why they say any given Sunday. That's the emotion factor. You could win a game that you're not supposed to just off pure emotion. And the emotion of our boy is back it's gonna be a whole different type. It's a different vibe now.
Oh, the locker. Listen, from the minute he got signed, did you see the support that this guy had across his teammates, even people that don't play with him?
Right, former teammates, everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
It's
he
funny.
said it like
I see that. How you used to the Dak hate on TV. I've watched it. It's something that's funny about sports commentary because it's narrative driven. And whatever they think is the best narrative, they'll run with it. If they get the inclination that supporting Dak was best for ratings, you'll watch because it has nothing to do with the genuine dislike. I don't think none of these dudes have no genuine problem with him. It's just it's paid to be negative about Dak.
Yep.
But I watched something different on ESPN earlier that kind of had me like, the narrative of because like it might be a better narrative for the networks to get behind the comeback of Dak. than to try to hate on it, if that makes
Right.
sense. Because I watched Booger McFarland shut down Dan Orlovsky, and Booger McFarland don't even usually support Dak Prescott.
True.
And I watched it, and I was like, I wonder what this is about. Because I always pay attention to what their angle is. And I watched them kind of just be like, hey, man, you can't win by yourself. The unreasonableness of you saying that now that Dak got his contract, he has to be able to cover up every hole. He's basically saying you don't do that with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then it looked like Dan didn't expect him to say that, and he didn't know what to say. Because obviously that's logic. No, you can't play safety and D-tackle if you're a quarterback.
Exactly.
But usually they do that with us. You know, they'll say Dallas was horrible last year and omit the fact that we didn't have our starter quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think this
And now all of a sudden they want to join on and say, well, his defense was kind of bad last year.
Exactly.
Well,
So
we told you that.
If we come out and we play good the first 2-3 weeks and the momentum starts to click, because I've seen this before in 2016. I watched when the momentum starts to roll, the networks flip, the support for the team flips. You know, if we start to roll, the networks, I mean, not the Stephen A's of the world. That's his shtick. He's going to do that until he dies.
Right.
But even him, look, this is funny. He was arguing with Michael Irvin, right? He said, if you guys won the Super Bowl, I would DJ the parade. That's a dead indicator that you don't have the hate that you so-called do. It's all for ratings. He don't give.
Yeah, he said he loves the organization. He just doesn't like the fans.
He don't got no problem. Yo, Stephen A. is he don't got no problem with no fans. It's just it makes him money.
Yeah,
he always says, I got this friend that always says, we're gonna win the Super Bowl, right? There's no friend. He's just making up stories.
Yeah, for sure.
Bring a friend on TV. Exactly. I'm a Dallas fan. Been a Dallas fan forever. There's no this whole narrative that there's people out there that as soon as we lose, the first thing they call their mouth is we gonna win the Super Bowl. I ain't met them. Have y'all met them?
Right. Nope.
I know some diehard fans, obviously, and you would get the reverse. You get more of this out of the Cowboys fans. We ain't winning shit next year.
Yeah.
Right.
You damn sure don't get. We gonna win the Super Bowl. I don't know who he know, but but it ain't
right.
true.
Every year we gonna win the Super Bowl.
Every year. You know what? We were supposed to win the Super Bowl from 2 years ago. Every year it's the same thing. The media jumps on the bandwagon. The Dallas Cowboys have the best chance to win the Super Bowl, and then
it's narrative, man, because they know what to watch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's why I get tired of like Skip Bayless, man. Skip Bayless has been hating on Dak for 2 years. When he signs his contract, he has the nerve to celebrate.
Yeah.
I'm tired of him throwing Dak's jersey in the trash and then go get it and put it on the next day.
Throw his ass in the trash.
Yeah. No, you know what? I said it. I posted about this on Twitter the other day. I said Skip Bayless is not a real Dallas Cowboys fan. He really is.
Not even close.
Not even close, man. Because he is the first one to be negative when something goes wrong. Like he does not support the Dallas Cowboys the way that he really anyways, he's not a real fan. I don't listen to him anymore. I can't. He gets on my nerves. I think somebody should slap the shit out of him, or
he just you know what it is?
He could be a reporter for the Cowboys, but he's
point,
definitely not a lover of them.
I think at one point he was like, I'm sure he was a fan. I feel like back in the Stephen A. days, he was more of a fan. But I think over the years, it's paid to just follow the narrative. What we gonna do today? You know, when they do their little show production, how we gonna do it? Or you going today? Because it'll be like, today, Shannon, you gonna support Dak? I'ma hate that. Tomorrow,
and didn't he just get an extension before Dak?
Huh?
Didn't he just get paid before Dak a couple days ago?
Exactly.
For doing just that thing?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know. Look, Colin Cowherd came on the herd 2 days ago, or it was yesterday, and said that out of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, he had the nerve to put Carson Wentz 5th as the best highest paid quarterback. So Dak Prescott, this is my thing. Dak Prescott can't miss a throw or two, or they'll lead a show with it and talk about it for hours.
But you know what's gonna happen?
This dude got benched and cut from the team.
Yeah.
Traded.
Right.
And you act like it didn't happen. He said, yeah, he just had a bad year. My dude can't miss a throw. This dude he was ranked 34th out of all the he was the 34th ranked quarterback last year. And
Guys,
he just let it brush off his shoulders.
You know what the media is going to do to Dak if Dak has a bad game going into the season, right?
Oh, that contract cut, they're gonna break it out like a pamphlet.
Oh yeah.
No idea.
This guy's getting paid $200 million for a completed pass.
Yeah, exactly. VA, I want to thank you for coming on the show, man. Please, if you haven't subscribed to our channels, definitely go subscribe. Right now, we're gonna shift over. I'm gonna shift over to Star Gang. Definitely go check him out too, VA, because those guys are doing some big things over there. We're gonna go join the chat and maybe join the stream. So definitely go check us out.
Yes, sir.
All right?
I will.
All right,
thanks a lot for coming on, man. Please, the next time we come on, feel free to come on again, man.
All right,
Sid. I'll see you over in the comments.
Yeah, man. Wait, before we go, please let the people know where to find you again before we end this stream, please.
Oh, my fault, man. You know, it's Mr. Rome, Cowboys Fan Talk. You can find me on YouTube, of course, the Cowboys Fan Talk. Twitter is Cowboys_Fan Talk, and on IG it's just Cowboys Fan Talk. And hey, man, I finally get to talk about something other than Dak's contract. We can talk about free agency and the draft until further notice.
Yeah, it's your boy Sid, man. Definitely subscribe to my channel, Dallas Cowboys, the #4 life. Check me out on Twitter, SidDC for life, and also Instagram, SidDC for life. Man, guys, please take it from me. If you have a loved one, love them as much as you can. Always appreciate that you have them. Appreciate your children, because one day to the next, that person could be gone, man.
Yes, sir.
It's your boy Sid, and I'm out.
All right.